Welcome back. Well, Joe Biden expected to announce that he is running for president this week. But could past mistakes haunt his campaign, specifically on foreign policy? Here with some unique foreign policy insight is Fox News contributor Jillian Turner. She served on the White House National Security Council during the George W. Bush and Obama administrations, and she joins us now. Jillian, thanks for being here. You know, this is an important 48 hours that we have eyes on the vice president as he is set to, as sources are saying, enter the presidential race. Overall, people are saying his foreign policy may come back to bite him. Let's start with this first example, his position on Iraq. He actually argued to separate Iraq into sections, and this is what he had to say about it.
A fundamental strategic mistake that everyone on both sides clings to, and that is that there's any possibility in the lifetime of anyone here of having the Iraqis get together, have a unity government in Baghdad that pulls the country together. That will not happen, George. It will not happen in the lifetime of anyone here. Secondly, the point is that you have to separate the parties to give them breathing room. You have to get them out of each other's face.
What's your assessment?
I actually agree with him. I have to say that the one Iraq policy that we've got currently has been, for the most part, a tremendous failure for this administration. If you speak to foreign policy makers in Washington, there's a kind of covert consensus that the one Iraq policy is really not a long-term solution to the problems the country is facing. And what happened with Vice President Biden is that early on, he kind of identified that and started trying to move people away from it. So when he talks about federalism, a partition, what he means is let's carve out space for the different ethnic and tribal identities inside the country. Something like that would have been much better than what we've got now.
Well, right now is an issue in part because of a withdrawal that happened post-surge, which we had a victory in our hands there. You know, the vice president was more than against sending troops to Afghanistan when we were at that point. Listen to this. This is a reminder.
We have eliminated Osama bin Laden. That was our purpose. And in fact, in the meantime, what we said we would do, we would help train the Afghan military. But we are leaving. We are leaving in 2014, period. It's their responsibility, not America's.
So we didn't win that argument.
He definitely did not. You know, Hillary Clinton was one of the folks that was pitted against him. He wanted less. No troops, she wanted more. They came out somewhere in between on the heavier side with 30,000, but he really looks dovish compared to her on this issue.
Well, it's interesting you say that because some people have highlighted him as a non-interventionist, that he will not, no troops at the very last point would we send in. Yes. He actually didn't even advocate, he wanted to hold back when it came to getting into Osama bin Laden's raid, right?
Absolutely. He is military option is a last resort. We use diplomacy, we use soft power, we use smart power. We only bring in military force when we absolutely have exhausted all the other options. And he's been that little bug in President Obama's ear these last 7 years, encouraging him to use restraint, use caution. What you've seen is largely a product of the vice president.
Well, from what's cooking inside the White House and what may be cooking as we move to a presidential race in 2016 to cooking with Jillian. Guess what? Jillian Turner is going to stick around in about an hour. She is going to share some fun facts about her life. They are fascinating. I've been reading about you and a great lasagna recipe. You're going to want to repeat that at home. We'll see you soon, Jillian. Thanks.